Hello everyone, this is JPL, and today I'm joined with...
Christopher!
Yes, and we're back for another podcast name in brackets.
Thank you guys for listening.
How are you doing, Christopher?
I'm doing pretty decent. It's great to spend another day with you.
Yeah.
I look forward to this. So, we're gonna have fun.
Oh.
I believe.
We're doing stuff.
Relaxing, but having fun at the same time.
Sure, if that's what you want to call it. Relaxing. And fun.
I guess it's more work on your end.
And time.
Time well spent.
Time well spent on a weekend with no love.
It's not a weekend.
Hey, you never know. I don't know what I'm saying now. I'm busy adjusting how the microphone is working. But yeah, how are you doing, Christopher?
I'm doing fine. It has been really kind of just busy and a little overwhelming the past week.
Overwhelming.
Just getting settled into the new school semester with the corona restrictions. Like even some things at the dorms had to change a bit. And also with the news regarding Liberty within the past week has been hard to digest, and it has affected the morale of campus, I believe.
Yeah, I guess I haven't really been on campus much.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Given how I skipped a couple classes.
Right.
Not mostly not by choice. Actually, yes, mostly by choice.
Mostly by choice.
But hey, things happen.
What a great excuse.
The main downer of news that I really hear more of was that there was 30 cases? 30. Yeah, 30 positives.
I think I heard something like that. I heard at least 60 people were under quarantine.
It was 5 professors.
Professors?
5 professors, 25 students is what I heard.
Wow.
Or staff, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So, first week. Woo.
Woo.
We're going perfectly here.
I mean, baseline, right? We move online when we get to 5%, which is about 750 students ish. That's the approximate.
Is that their plan?
Yes.
Okay.
5% move online, 15% shut down and close campus.
Shut down online at 15?
No.
Okay.
Well, basically, they will keep us at the dorms if we're at 5%.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'd be allowed to leave. That I don't know.
I will take you. I will come to you.
You can't come into our dorms though.
We can do the podcast
outside
through the door. I'll sit on the other side. You do with your side.
Yeah.
No, that was you. Nothing going.
I don't have my phone.
Fine then. I don't know what that was.
Why did you think that was me?
I heard a buzz.
I mean, I don't doubt that your phone buzzed, but that wasn't me.
I don't know. I'm going mad again.
Okay, but we'll see what happens when we get there, I guess. But that would definitely affect things.
Like our VeggieTales, which is now out and released. You can go watch it.
Yes.
There should actually be a second episode.
Right.
When this comes
we're
out.
supposed to have a fun intro, which is supposed to go...
Shh, hush.
We need to rehearse it because I kind of forgot. I got the baseline, but we kind of need it scripted. So
Do we though? We don't need it scripted.
It's hilarious. But it's scripted in the way how we opened the podcast. It's hello everybody, I'm JPL. Welcome to podcast name Practice. Today I'm joined with that planned, more planned, not necessarily scripted, but planned intro.
Sure.
I think is hilarious, and maybe we could have more people watch the full thing. Actually.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, it's nice with podcasts past week. Just consistent views. I'm like that people are actually tuning in when a new episode comes out.
So it's actually happening.
On the day, people I at least get 2 people come in and listen.
Yay!
On the day. And it's oh my gosh, that's so nice.
Guys!
I get 2 pennies.
Guys! If you enjoy the podcast, you could leave a review on Apple Podcasts, you could put a comment on the YouTube channel. You could. What can you do on Anchor?
Give us money. You can support us on Anchor. $1 makes all the difference.
$1 makes all the difference. I always have to make you say that just in case.
Because I'm the one who says it best.
Yes, you are the one who I've said every dollar makes all the difference. What else have I said? Doesn't matter. I screw it up.
You do. Even when you type it out, you screw it up.
But yeah, so the VeggieTales thing, you want to give the background of how we started the VeggieTales thing?
I don't even remember how we came up with this idea.
You were kind of like, you had an idea of like watching movies with me, and since I'm not crazy about movies, I'm like, what if we kind of traveled to the past?
Yeah, like something. I wanted to do something with you.
Mm-hmm. So like the podcast wasn't...
Here's what it was.
The podcast wasn't enough.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing like Christian movies or Christian content and doing reviews with you. And related to that would be some Bible Man stuff.
Ooh, we should do that.
Let's put a pin on that. But yeah, VeggieTales was like the main one that came up, and it's like we both like that. It's been a long time since we'd seen it, me specifically, and yeah, this would be fun. So yeah, we decided. We spent months planning, quote unquote planning.
Basically, just waiting for the school semester to start.
Just talking about doing it.
Right.
I'm the main one who planned it.
Mm-hmm.
Took me 5 minutes. It's like, this is how I'll film it.
Yeah. And like typically, like I would love to do something, a project like that, like me heading it. But the thing is, like I personally get really overwhelmed with what I got going on, and plus also with me living on campus and being a CDL, I have more responsibilities, and plus I'm not really doing YouTube as much. I have a review that's due this week that I need to, or next week that I need to do.
Write that down.
I have it written down.
Okay.
It's just a matter of making time for it. It's something I need to do. But yeah, I haven't really been doing YouTube as much as I had. So,
yeah, you started to do a weekly vlog.
That's the intent. I want to try to make it as daily as possible, but right now it's weekly.
It is going to take some time.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult.
It is.
Because I tried doing that when I first started out.
Uh-huh.
I didn't exactly do it weekly.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the first 2 weeks, and then I just decided I'll do it every few weeks when something noticeable happens, and I'll just summarize things. And I did that for like the first 2 semesters. Years.
Yeah.
And then
really? Oh, okay. That was a bit.
Maybe it was like... It was 1 year, a year and a half, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, why I decided to is because I am not doing reactions right now due to the monetization.
Neither am I.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to.
Yeah, I get that. Like, I still kind of want to a bit. At the same time, I'm glad. But I still have, like, a reaction mentality of, like, I can't listen to it until whenever. Which...
Yeah, that is something that's like... New video comes out, it's like, oh, I could watch this, but this would make a fun video.
Exactly. So it sucks.
Hey, those reactions, they'll be coming out in 6 months.
So there are some things where I just had to say, you know what, I'm never gonna react to it, so I go ahead and listen to it. But I'm trying to think. So I want to kind of shift to review. Like I have some reactions on Patreon. I need to edit a couple for that because I have some recorded I haven't been able to edit yet. Trying to think. Patreon. Then I want to try to do some reviews. I got a review copy of an album which is releasing this Friday. It's Stryper's new album, Even the Devil Believes. Powerful title. So I'm excited to do that, I guess. It's not as positive as I kind of hoped to be. I need to listen to it some more and outline, do some more outlines, and then record it and try to get out by next week.
Yeah.
That's the plan. I want to try to actually release it on the day if possible. But basically, a lot of people have subscribed to my channel for music content. I need to get that to them. But I just haven't been as invested in music lately, at least like for my channel. So it's a little harder to do. Or just new music in general. I haven't been able to listen to new music as much. Or honestly, like more or less, I'll be honest, Christian music. I've listened to a handful of secular albums, like Taylor Swift's New Folklore. It's a pretty solid indie album. Poppies, I Disagree. I love the experimentation it features. Like those are some albums that I've really been enjoying lately that I wouldn't necessarily talk about on my channle. I reference Poppy occasionally. Like I'll reference things.
You do.
Yeah, but it's not like I'm like here's the thing, like especially a reaction I almost feel like is a form of endorsement. But so I never wanted to react to Poppy on my channel. I focus more on promoting Christian things. If I was to ever review Poppy, it would be more like a specific song, looking at it from a biblical worldview.
Yeah.
So we were talking about blogs.
Yeah.
and the VeggieTales thing.
And like basically like not doing reactions. I want to move more towards reviews. Like mainly this is just like a thing for us to do together.
Yeah.
I want to do as much of that as I can.
Yeah.
And podcasts.
And another thing about the vlogs I was just thinking is that basically it's also just putting out content for the people.
Yeah.
There's two things. Number one, it's to show people I'm not dead.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, it's content. No, that's not what. Number two is like life on campus during Corona.
Right.
It's going to fascinate
you.
people.
A few weeks ago, you put out a tweet. We were supposed to talk about this last week, but I forgot entirely.
What was my tweet?
You had mentioned that you thought about doing your own podcast.
Yes. Right. Okay, so... Because you were totally on my mind when I said that, and I knew you would be like, what? And so I felt even more bad when you replied.
Yeah, I did reply. I knew exactly what you meant, but like I still wanted to... Yeah, I knew what you meant. Like...
Okay, let's see what I said.
Yeah, let's take a look at the tweet. I'm pulling up Twitter now. Tweets and replies. Alright, you said... Alright. Speak.
When it seemed like podcasts were past their prime, everyone in 2020 seems to have started one. Let's just talk about that for a moment. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Not so much. I was never into podcasts, like, in the earlier days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not really into them now. But I can kind of see this. Like, I'm seeing a lot more people get into podcasts lately, which is fine.
I would almost argue almost a few too many people have been getting into podcasts lately, or starting their own podcasts. I just feel like almost...
Yeah,
everyone.
I think everyone wants to give their opinion on things.
True.
And have discussion like this. Because, like, this is fun.
It is
You're
fun.
sitting down and you're talking, and I think everyone wants to have a moment like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we're getting so many of these podcasts.
Right.
Listeners, like, that's probably why you listen to us. I don't know. I don't know why you listen. Who are you people?
Who are you?
Who are you people?
That's why we've been asking you to show yourself.
Show yourselves. Give me your social security number. I need to know who you are.
That was John, not me.
Continue.
I don't know. I just feel like also there is kind of like a bit of a like growing stereotype when it comes to like podcasts. It's not something I can like describe, but it's just I don't know. Like I feel like podcasts, you know, really were a thing like a couple of years ago, and it kind of seemed to die out, and it kind of seemed to have exploded. But I don't know if there's a lot of energy behind it as much as it used to, if you know what I mean. I don't know. I cannot say this for sure because I'm not as invested in podcasts, right?
No.
I'm not... For me, like, again, like I kind of say, like, my main thing is music. I observe a lot of music things. And so, while my opinion
or observations of things aren't always accurate, I feel more confident in my opinion regarding music. But when it comes to podcasts or movies, and pick your other medium, it's not something I'm as invested in, and therefore it's harder for me to truly gauge. I'm really curious what other people think. I know, honestly, though, a lot of my friends will sometimes recommend, hey, give me a podcast to listen to, and for some reason, John, I just realized shoot me, I never remember our podcast. I don't know why. Because sometimes when I'm scrolling through someone's Instagram story, it's all of a sudden, give me a podcast. I go blank. I'm just because I don't listen to podcasts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
At least not like I used to. So
and this is more like we're hanging out than an actual.
True.
We're doing this for.
If we had more of an audience and bigger engagement, then it would weigh heavier on my mind. Oh, we got a podcast that people are listening to,
mm-hmm.
right? But because we don't have that, this is literally just us basically just hanging out, and I don't think about it that much.
That's how it started, pretty much.
True.
Even still is.
It still is. I don't think that's changed. It's. I'll be honest. Even though I have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, right now it's just mind blowing that we have 2 consistent listeners for the podcast. For some reason, for me, that's mind blowing, because. Especially with me not really doing YouTube as actively, to see that some people are actively following us is fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it is 2 consistent people instead of just 2. Somehow it's 2 random, but I mean, to whoever those 2 people are, thank you so much, because it is mind blowing and it is humbling. But yeah, I don't fully know. I'll be honest, when I answered those, the 2 that come to mind is Audio Theory Central, because I really was listening to that
mm-hmm.
back when I lived in Korea. And especially if people want to, learn more about audio dramas, that's the perfect podcast to listen to. So I love recommending that to people. They have great thoughts. And the other one is Phil Vischer's The Holy Post. I personally don't really listen to it, but they have a lot of good conversations on there from what I see. I personally would love to listen to it, but I just really don't. But I need to start to remember that, oh yeah, I have a podcast too. Or not, it's not mine. But yeah, I'm part of a podcast too.
You technically do have a podcast.
Yeah, it's joined. So.
Yeah, and so continuing on with this tweet.
Yeah, so and then the rest of the tweet says, regardless, basically saying, put aside your preconceptions of a stereotype of podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I asked, would you listen? And I knew no one would really answer, but would you listen to? I should ask this on Instagram. Shut up, Chris, or just read the tweet. Would you listen to a podcast if I hosted one? Not only would it be a fun, interesting medium to get my thoughts out, it would be fun to interview guests. And I'll just straight up be honest, the main reason why I would have the podcast is more for the guest than to get my thoughts out.
Yeah. I knew what you meant.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to just do something that's different. Interview guests, just have other people involved than just you and me.
Well, I mean, not for our show, a new thing. Yeah, I know that's what you meant,
it's also something where you're taking charge of this one.
True. As one reason why I enjoy doing this is that all I do is sit here and do nothing.
Yeah.
And because I have been so invested in so many other media things, and it's exhausting to keep up with them, and so to basically just be the actor, not that in everything the actor is the easiest thing to do.
Mm-mm.
But just to just be there and just to hang out as such, has been easier for me, especially in the VeggieTales thing. Here's the base thing. If I was to take charge of it, I would be doing things differently.
Right? Yeah, you would.
I would. Down to the VeggieTales, the Ear Greens, to the podcast. I have my idea of professionalism
mm-hmm.
That you don't really hit with your content.
No.
And I know you can admit that. With me using Premiere and such, or just simply majoring in audio. Like, there are certain things that my brain is like, all right, I have this baseline that I would want to hit with my content that we don't hit.
Mm-hmm.
And it is hard for me to release content if it doesn't hit that certain point. So part of this is that if you're taking charge of it, that's not a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And part of it is like I sometimes have to be okay with a lower quality grade. Like I have to be okay with that sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And then of course
Do you want me to turn off the light?
You're what?
I mean, it was flickering.
Oh no, the light's fine.
Okay.
People who are listening, a little bit of light flicker was going on.
Okay.
It's fine. The light's fine. It'll flicker. It'll do
Okay.
that. Let it be. If it goes out, it goes out.
Right.
And then of course I respond to this tweet. What do you mean, if?
And then I didn't say in reply, but
And
I was literally thinking, like, what does he mean if?
I wasn't being really serious at all. Like, this was a joke.
Okay.
It's like, what do you mean if? Like, I was meaning if is like, would you listen to a podcast if I hosted one? And when I said, what do you mean if you hosted one? You kind of do co-host.
True.
One.
I guess that was also, like, I think I caught on.
Yeah, and I guess part of it also is that while, for me, this is still my work, it's still my channel, my stuff that I put into it, I still consider my partners 50-50 partners. And I consider them co-hosts or even main hosts as well. Even though I'm the one who's doing all the work and being in charge, I still regard them as being hosts and being full-on partners, even if they don't consider it that way. They more consider themselves as guests. But,
well, I would consider myself a co-host for sure.
Yeah.
I just don't take charge in terms of anything else.
So yeah, I wasn't being serious when I asked that question.
Okay.
I was just joking. It's like, what do you mean if you do host one?
And also, just to add to that, like, I don't intend to start this anytime soon.
No.
Because, again, like I said, not only just quality, but also I'm just busy right now. If I'm to be honest, if I did start it, I see myself starting it after college.
That'd be fine.
But anything can happen, because it would be like like I said, the main thing for me would be to be able to interview people. There's so many people I want to interview, and it would be easier to set up an interview in a podcast format compared to like in person. I did that for Peabod when he came to Liberty. It was fun, but it was a bit of work. It was great to meet him in person. Right? You don't get that if you did like a Skype interview.
Yeah.
And also, like, if I did the podcast, I would like to put out a video version for YouTube. Just to throw that out there.
Yeah, I know.
But, and then also, I myself am not positive if I would want to use Anchor. So, I'm not ready to do that research yet. So, a lot of unknowns. But I'm not there yet. But, yeah. Basically, namely, to interview people. Just since this summer, I've really kind of been thinking twice about voicing my opinion on things. It's scary, you know, because you see people being judged on their opinion that they said 5 years ago or whatever. Oh, and even though, especially like an Instagram story, like it disappears after 24 hours.
It does, yeah.
But the impact lasts forever. So. Yeah.
Yeah, also, we should probably also mention again, SonicCon. That's the thing that's come back.
Are they sponsoring us?
No, but go get tickets anyway.
But they're not sponsoring us. They
never sponsored us to begin with.
Go to SonicCon at Liberty University.
Go check out SonicCon, yeah.
Sonic-con.org, right?
Yeah. The link is in the description of the YouTube video.
Okay.
And just...
if you can find a YouTube...
listeners, just Sonic... Yeah, Sonic...
dash...
Sonic dash... Not quite a dash, it's...
It is a dash.
Dash is this. This is a dash. Like...
That's a slash.
No, like when you type, that's dash /slash. But it's a minus sign. Sonic minus sign con.org. Confusing, I know, but it's fine. Go check that out. It's a convention, audio theater convention. It could be fun.
The guys at Audio Theater Central should be there.
Should be. Assuming we don't get canceled again when we get there.
Yeah, I guess it depends on Liberty and the students.
Oh my gosh. I could see that happening.
I pray it doesn't.
Yes.
It's like, is it just going to happen naturally, or are students just going to be stupid? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here's one interesting question or thought about like Corona. We see a lot of conflicting opinions, and especially young people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm young, I'm strong, I can get healed from this virus or whatever." But I saw one thought once, and it was kind of like, we don't know like the lasting effects of the virus, right? We don't know like how it will affect people long term. Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's on my list here.
Okay.
Finish what you're saying.
That's all I had to say. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, let's avoid what you just said.
Yeah.
What did you just say?
Basically, like sometimes like a disease can have like long-term effects on people.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm somewhat concerned about how this will affect us in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I wonder for example, if especially a female got the virus and then she has a baby, is the baby gonna have side effects or mutated because of the virus? I feel like some people do I believe that media stuff is exaggerated? Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like some people aren't taking it seriously enough, and I'll admit, sometimes I don't either. Like, I hate wearing the mask for long periods of time. I don't know about you, but I have head issues, and after wearing the mask for a long time, it affects my head.
Mm-hmm.
So, part of it, yeah, I did have to build up a bit of tolerance. I knew that would take a little bit of time, so it's a little easier for me to wear the mask now. But it still does affect my head a bit.
Yeah.
It's hard to breathe a bit. But at the same time, like, I am a little concerned about the future of us as humans with this virus.
I feel like there might be a lasting effect with mask culture.
True.
Like, even if the virus is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Gone, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
And most people get rid of their mask because they want to breathe again.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel that some people will be lasting wearing the mask for a long, long time afterwards.
Yeah. Which they can do what they want.
They can do what they want, but it's like a habit
Mm-hmm.
that they've now gotten into.
Yeah.
And there's a fear that if they break that habit, that they'll die.
Yeah.
That's being dramatic, but that is a legitimate thought process that can come up.
I remember some people, like, in like March or April, they're like, hopefully we can get over this soon, so it'll just be a memory. It's not going to be just a memory.
It's the history books now.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. I guess I am a little... Because, like, for like, how it impacts culture, like, it's already obvious.
Yeah.
And even if...
I mean, restaurants, my gosh. Like,
mm-hmm.
That's a big deal. People will still be trying to be 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
Even if they want to be close, they'll still try to...
Like, that's on, like at the Rot. Like, I'm, like, squeezing between people, praying that I don't touch them.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And
like, I think twice about hugging people now. I hate that.
Yeah, it's like people who are all about physical touch. This is going to have serious effects in Latin America. Like, you might not understand the impact as greatly as I do, but Latin America is a touch culture. They have to touch you all over the place.
Mm.
Like every day, every second, they have to be touching you. It's a weird thing to say, but it's true.
Right.
It's true. They hug you all the time. They kiss you all the time. You gotta deal with it all the time. But with this thing, and everyone have to be separated. Now, I can see when people go and hug, they're gonna be like I am, flinching every time someone tries to hug me, because it's like, oh no, don't touch me.
Right.
Which is sad. It really is, because even though Latin American touch culture is kind of touchy sometimes, you still feel the love,
right,
and you gotta love it. Like I said, restaurants. Who knows how they'll change?
Like I think I mentioned on the podcast. If I didn't, now I'll say it. Okay, fine.
Yeah, get your feet off
I'm
that.
Sorry. Basically, like, I am surprised that our culture has been unsanitary as it has been for the longest time. To many degrees, I'm glad that we're taking, sanitation measures to a larger scale, because I mean, for example, like at Fresh Market, you got that salad bar with the tongs that you get your salad with. There are people who wash their hands. There are some people who don't wash their hands.
Yeah.
They grab that tongs,
buffets, man.
get their food, and toss the tongs back in and manifest germs within the food.
Yeah.
And they don't realize it. And I've thought about that myself. Like, who knows what, the germs. And now, like...
Now that's a more serious problem. Like, this
right.
is...
And now the servers will serve you, which I think is way better.
Depends.
I mean, the lines suck.
They do.
But in terms of sanitation...
Sure.
I mean, like, even if it wasn't Corona, I would be applauding it.
Yeah, buffets now are going to be very interesting when they go back.
Yeah.
Like, hibachis, man.
Mm-hmm.
They might not be the same anymore.
Yeah.
Golden Corrals? No, just a normal restaurant now. Oh my gosh, Shady Maples in Pennsylvania. Oh, what's going to happen to that one? That's a really good one. Oh, gee darn it. You don't know what I'm talking about, but that's a good one.
Sounds like a good one.
It is a good one.
The restaurant in Pennsylvania for me is called Buddy's, but that's not a buffet.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see how even grocery stores change.
True.
I don't think they'll have too drastic of a change, but
Because the thing is here, because like there's conflicting reports on whether corona is spread through touch surfaces. There are conflicting reports.
we have no idea. Honestly, we don't.
True. So
Like, it happens when it happens,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. Let's just let it happen.
even if corona isn't spread through touch surfaces, germs are.
We can have corona right now. We won't even know about it.
Thanks for
Boost of confidence? Sure.
Yeah.
It's fine. Let's have that love. But yeah, we don't know what the future's going to hold after this ordeal goes on. We're going to be wearing gas masks next.
You want to move on to the next depressing topic?
The next depressing, sad topic. Sad-ish topic. More sad for others, depending on who you are,
Yeah.
how you live your life. But yeah,
But it's a lot of people.
yeah. This past weekend, and this is, everyone knows this now. People who are in the here and now. The actor for Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, passed away.
I didn't memorize the name.
No, me neither. I don't remember his name, but yeah, that was surprising.
Because
when I saw that.
he didn't mention his cancer at all.
No, he never talked about his cancer. And, like, when that happened, was like, oh, what? Really? This guy? Really? Wow.
Like, I've never seen Black Panther, and I was sad.
Yeah. I mean, I was as sad as I could be for someone dying, and I don't know who he is, really. Besides what I've seen in the movies. And I was sad because I liked that guy. Like, from what I've seen of him,
Mm-hmm.
in the short amount of stuff that I've seen him, I liked him. And now he's gone. It's like, it's a shame.
It's a huge shame.
But at the same time, I think if there's a good moment for him to pass, this is a heck of a moment. Coming off of the height, he's pretty much in the prime of his life right now. He was in the prime of his life. Coming after 4 years of probably the best time in his film career as the character of Black Panther.
In fact, like what from what I saw, they haven't said anything yet. But like, what's gonna be the status of number 2?
What's the status for the sequel? We don't know. It's gonna be interesting. Probably they'll replace him.
But I know a lot of people won't like that.
Yeah, and a lot of people won't like everything.
True.
But if I
sometimes things like that have to happen.
from a story perspective, I would recast the actor.
Mm-hmm. I guess it really depends on the story.
Yeah, like even if he's not really the main character, I'd still recast him, just so his character isn't just forgotten, and be like, oh hey, he's on vacation now.
Right. So I have a very interesting question regarding this.
Okay.
So it seems like he really seemed like a humble man, right? That's why he didn't bring up the cancer thing.
Right.
I know it seemed like he valued privacy. I don't blame him.
Yeah, this is a deeply personal thing.
Right. Regardless, which is more selfish? Let me just ask it this way. Which is more selfish? Revealing to the public that you have cancer and basically gaining sympathy from them, or dying of cancer and shocking the public with that news? Do you know what I mean by that question?
I think so.
Because here's what I'm thinking, right? It was such a shock to hear that he passed away, right? Because no one knew what happened, right? And especially for a celebrity, for him to keep that a secret, I mean, great job. But
I mean, some people like saw that there was like something in the physicality that wasn't quite right, but they weren't entirely sure what it was.
Right. But I mean, like, for him, like, just to, like, if the public knew of what was going on, they would understand, and the death wouldn't be as shocking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it would, like at either rate, you would steal the spotlight. Either way, you would do it. I don't know. It's such a tricky thing.
I liked that he didn't tell people, that he still put his best work into everything. Like, he's doing Black Panther. He's going through his treatments. I don't know what they are. And working out to become the body shape he needs to do these films. On top of that, he's doing interviews. And, like, he's still putting up a front. And he's going to children's hospitals who are dying of the same diseases. And he's still putting up that front. I don't think he was selfish in not telling the audience. And also, I don't think he really needed to tell the audience. I think the only people who he probably should tell would be the studio.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty certain that he did. Because that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal.
So,
like they probably should, like, if they knew, then I bet they were probably already looking for a good replacement.
Either looking for a replacement or changing the narrative to fit things, but yeah.
Or even maybe shooting ahead so that they could, if he did die as soon as he did.
Yeah,
that they would be able to, like, they could have two storylines depending on his or whether he stays alive or not.
But yeah, like I said, last 4 years, the most successful years for him. All of them Marvel movies, all of them as Black Panther, all of them well received, well reviewed, well accepted by people. And that is gotta be nice knowing that you left, leaving a nice legacy for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I was just curious of your thoughts because I just, especially when you're in the public eye, like sometimes like we are too invested in other people's lives in a scary way sometimes. So I totally understand that he wanted to keep things private,
mm-hmm.
but it still makes me wonder. It's just like
I don't think he had an obligation to tell people.
he didn't have an obligation.
No, because I think the idea is just fans. We put them on a pedestal, and we think that we deserve to know these things, which in truth we don't.
Right.
Like, they're exactly like us, people.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, they have more money.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, they're more noticed, but they're exactly like us. They have the same emotions, they have the same flaws, and they all need Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Which is, I haven't looked into it, but it seems like he might have been a Christian.
I don't know.
That would be something I want to look into. Because I've seen like some people say Manifae for alluding the fact that he might have been a Christian.
If he
that
wasn't,
intrigues me.
he was a good guy. And it's sad to see him go.
Yes. Any more thoughts on that, or
let's move on to another topic. We were talking about the word for mother and father in the car ride.
So, just a quick thing, real quick. This may not interest you, but you may take interest.
Mm.
I don't know, because you're a complicated man. Just real quick. So, a week or two ago, BTS released a song called Dynamite. It was their first English song. You know, BTS is the key pop group, right? You're familiar. You're somewhat familiar.
No.
You're on Twitter, John, and you don't know what BTS is?
No, I don't. I don't follow K-pop.
I know, but BTS trends like every other week.
BTS for me means behind the scenes.
I know that. BTS is also a K-pop group.
Okay.
I don't know. You're on Twitter. They literally take over Twitter like every other week. It's stupid.
But here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
I'm on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't follow people who follow K-pop.
I know, but in the trending thing.
I don't look at that.
Oh my god, okay.
When it says K-pop, I don't look at that. I don't
Okay.
care. Like,
Okay.
just forget it.
Fine. Well, I don't know. It's just like they did one collaboration a few years ago, and that was an all-English song, but that technically wasn't their song, right? They were featured on the song, so this is Dynamite. Just in case if any BTS stan is listening to this and wants to correct me, I kind of know what I'm talking about. Okay, so to a greater second, but their first official English song, because K-pop is typically a mix of Korean and English.
Yeah.
Also, for those wondering, I lived in South Korea for 7 years. Don't think I don't know anything in regards to K-pop. Just saying. The song debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Okay.
Which is pretty significant considering that they're a few things. They're an international band.
Mm-hmm.
They're Korean-based. They're one of only 3 groups to have a single to debut at #1. It's not just like, oh, it appeared on a chart, Rose. Oh, it hit #1. It debuted at #1. I know you don't really listen to music a lot.
No.
So, I guess you don't really have an opinion.
It's not...
I'm starting my own podcast.
Yeah. It's not significant to me, but
Right.
I know that's significant to you.
It is. I'll just flat out say I've not listened to the song. I am annoyed by BTS fans. Regardless, I have high respect for BTS. Because I am half Korean. I have lived in South Korea. I appreciate K-pop.
Yeah.
And to see that, see just how BTS does, with their leaps and bounds, it's insane. It's really amazing how they've really captured the world as they did. Regardless, I'm a bigger fan of Blackpink, which is the biggest K-pop girl group. Not BTS is a boy band. So I'm a bigger Blackpink fan. And so basically, Blackpink for a couple weeks held the record of like most views of the video for the first 24 hours. So like, I don't remember how many. And then the BTS video. 101 million views in the first 24 hours. That's insane. John.
Yeah.
101 million views. I struggled to get 10 on the video. Yeah, that's a joke. That's just insane. So I am a little bitter just because I'm a bigger fan of Blackpink, regardless because it is Korean based. I'm proud of it, and I pretty much knew John wouldn't have an opinion.
Yeah, of course. You know me well.
Yeah.
But Mom and Pa.
Mom and Pa. So I was thinking in the car on the way here, and I just said this funny thought that it would be so funny if I raised my kids to say mother and father growing up, because it automatically makes them sound British even without the accent. It's so formal. It's hilarious.
You think it's British.
I know it's not, quote, British, but like I don't know a lot of people who say, it's mother, can I have a cookie from the jar, please?
Mother, Bambi.
I've never seen Bambi.
Well, that's fine. Mother,
father.
Yeah. I sometimes will say mother or father. Not often.
Right.
It's kind of rare. I don't mean to say it like that, but whenever it does happen, I say it.
And that's not a bad thing.
No.
I just thought it'd just be so funny if, like, I raised my kids exclusively on mother and father. Like, what do you typically call your parents? Mom and dad?
Yeah. Mom, dad. Yeah.
See, like, if I didn't teach my kids mom and dad, it was just simply mother and father.
Yeah, when I was younger, I'd say mommy and daddy.
Right.
You get older, you say mom, dad.
Yeah.
I used to. There were a few times where I'd accidentally call my teacher's mom, which is a big compliment to the teachers because they're really nice people.
Right.
But it's very embarrassing when I catch myself and I say that. It's like, oh no.
I know I think stupid things like this. I do. Admit it.
You do.
But
we all do.
It's so funny to me. If like I didn't raise them on saying mom or dad, mommy or daddy, it becomes mother, father.
Yeah, I mean ma and pa would be a fun one to say.
Okay, and then that one.
Don't.
Yeah, why not?
Don't.
I've already offended the English. I can offend a few more people.
No, I don't want to hear that voice again, Christopher.
Okay, it was based off Rodney Rathbone from Adventures in Odyssey.
Okay.
That's what it's based off of.
Okay.
But basically, like, saying ma or pa just makes it sound southern and stupid.
I don't think it sounds stupid.
But like if you say in such a way it sounds stupid, it's not. And again, this is not necessarily meant to degrade people. But like it's just funny to me. Like if ma pa.
When I think ma and pa, for some reason, I just think it sounds like there's concern in their voice when I say ma and pa.
Ma.
Pa. Pa, there's dogs here. Ma, the bears are back. Yeah, like that's what I think.
Mother, the bears are back.
That's just silly.
That is silly. See?
But yeah, like words have different meaning.
Uh-huh.
And like there's huge meaning in words. And I was thinking about this. It's like when I think of the word Paraguay, or when I say the word Paraguay, there's a huge difference to what it means to me than what it means to you.
Right.
I say Paraguay. What do you think?
I think of what you think. No, I'm kidding. For me, it literally is a country that exists. I know it's in South Africa, and I know that
Africa?
America! Gosh darn it. John, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I almost said Latin.
Latin works too.
Anyways, South America. That's like that for me. Honestly, I'll just say it. Like when I think of Paraguay, I immediately think, oh, that's where John lived. Because honestly, I took a geography class. I know it, but I didn't remember Paraguay from geography. So
No.
It basically is the country from South America that John lived in.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But for John,
for me, it means 10 years of my life.
So when he says I'll be back in Paraguay, that means I'll be back in 10 years of my life.
No, it means 10. Shut up. It means 10 years of my childhood growing up there.
Right.
It means 10 years of the culture of all these different foods, of the steaks that we had, of the cows that we met, of the...
Wait, you said cows?
Yes.
Okay.
Cows, there's a lot of cows. You'd see cows go around playgrounds.
What's like the main religion of Paraguay?
I don't really know. It's probably more Catholic, Roman Catholic.
Okay.
South America is mainly Catholic based. Okay. Ecuador is definitely much more Catholic than Paraguay is. But yeah, otherwise it's whatever.
I was just curious because I was thinking of India and how like they don't kill cows because of Hinduism.
Oh no, they kill their cows all the time. We have so many cows in Paraguay. We're good at it. We have good beef. We have good beef with the cows. But yeah, it means 10 years of my life growing up.
We have good beef with the cows.
Yeah, you finally got that joke, didn't you? I'm glad you got that. You almost made me sad there for a second.
He's so proud of me.
I am proud of you. I'm proud that you got that. But yeah, 10 years of my life growing up. So many good memories. So many okay memories. Some hard moments. But yeah, it's a big deal to me. It's one sad thing about Paraguay. During COVID, one of my favorite restaurants growing up, it's no longer there. Like, COVID took them out of business, and they were a big, nice, good restaurant with like they were a churrascaria. Like that's a fantastic place. You don't know what that means,
right?
It means like you sit in a place, and they come to you with meat on a stick, and they cut it and put it on your plate, and they keep coming back and giving you different types of meat, different cuts, different whatever, cooked more, less cooked, and like they keep doing that till you get your fill. They have the little chipa balls on, it's like bread, cheese bread, that they have on their table. There's like a place, it's like a salad bar that you can get some pasta and noodles. I would get gnocchis there.
Gnocchis. Never mind, just move on.
Yeah, I can't really explain that one to you.
It's okay.
It's like ravioli.
Move on.
But yeah, that closed down due to COVID, and that was there since before I was born, which is really sad because it's like one of the best places to go. Yeah. It's like the only fancy restaurant in Paraguay that I know, besides TGIF. But yeah, that was sad. But yeah, Paraguay means a lot more to me than it does to you.
Right.
Ecuador means a lot more to me than it does to you. For you, South Korea means a lot more to you. To me, it means, one, it's a country that's there. It's a culture there. It's a place where a lot of people that I know are from.
What?
Yeah. I just slapped you.
You did. There's a kitten running around.
Yeah, I have Kitten Academy pulled up on my thing that I watch. It's a live stream, 24-hour live stream of kittens. It's nice. It's nice and relaxing.
It is. It's fascinating.
Any other topic that you want to bring up here?
I don't think so.
Okay. There's another story.
Okay. And then maybe that'll spark something off my brain.
Yeah, like a couple nights ago, I was
Uh-oh. Sorry.
What do you mean no? Yeah. Oh yeah. Like going back to the Black Panther thing.
Okay.
I pretty much finished editing my VeggieTales video. I sent you the idea, like, okay, it's coming out Sunday. And I go on Twitter, just out of the off chance.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I see is someone saying, like, I effing hate cancer. I'm like, okay, I don't know what the context is, but, that's sure. I agree with you. And then CJ, I see his post next that says, Wakanda forever. And it's like, okay, CJ, that's so generic. But
random. Generic and random.
In random. But I see the hashtag, and the first thing I see is RIP. And I'm like, oh, no. And I look over to the right to the trending bar, and I see it's like, oh.
Like the only time you looked at the trending bar this year.
No. But yeah, going back to what I did a couple nights ago. I went on Twitch to watch a friend of mine's live stream.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing a game.
Mm-hmm. Which game?
He was playing Fortnite.
Okay.
But we hadn't really talked in a while because he's not really been on social media in a while.
Yeah.
And so this is like one of the few times I've actually catched him there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I come in, I say hello in the chat, and what's really nice is that he in the chat acknowledges, like, he was excited to see that I was there. He was happy that I was there. And, like, he was telling the chat, is like, hey, this guy's my friend. And, like, he's one of the reasons why I'm still alive today.
Wow.
Which was really nice to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, he said all this in Spanish. And the entire chat was thanking me, and I had no idea what they were thanking me for. I could speak Spanish, but, fluent Spanish is different when you speak quickly. And so they're thanking me. I have no idea what he's talking about. And then he just tells me, and it's like, oh, it's really nice to hear that I have a good impact on him. That my friendship is important with him.
Yeah.
And I really like that. Like, I'm glad to know that I helped someone.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't directly help them,
Mm-hmm.
just being the friend helps them acknowledge that they're staying alive for me, which is nice and sad at the same time.
That really does carry a lot of weight.
It does.
Wow.
And I love that guy. So,
yeah. So, curious, like, how many followers does he have on Twitch?
I don't know. I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cause
I don't
like,
want to name names here, so.
Okay, because it seemed like if people were thanking you, it seems like he has quite a following.
Yeah, he had a decent amount of people
Decent. Okay.
there.
Okay. At either rate, still. Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while since, like, we last talked because he's not on social media.
Yeah.
At all, so, yeah, hopefully.
Just Twitch.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, he's not on Facebook anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have to catch him somewhere else. But yeah, that was it was nice to quickly catch up with him.
Yeah.
And nice to know that friendship really is magic.
Yeah. And even if it's not consistent, the ties still remain. Because, like, imagine, like, after our time at Liberty, imagine if, like, you don't talk to CJ for 10 years, and then you randomly bump into him.
Like,
you guys are still gonna be loving each other.
Yeah, all of my relationships are very important to me. Even the ones from elementary school that I haven't spoken to a lot of those people in over a decade. They're still important to me. Like, I still hold a nice place in my heart for them. Moving on to a lighter topic. Comedians.
Okay.
Do you follow any comedians?
I did.
Mm-hmm.
Joe and Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Then since his stuff, it's just been hard for me. While I do believe in forgiveness and such, like, it's still just hard for me because he really influenced my comedy, and seeing like basically how much of a hypocrite he was, it just hurt. So even though he's back, it's hard for me to view his content because I still have a stained view of him. Tim Hawkins, but he's not active right now. I think he, like, 2020, he was actually just planning to take the year off. Then Corona happened, so that just worked out for him. But he's not actively making content right now. So I know that's like the very basic Christian answer.
Yeah.
So for me, when it comes to comedy, like, it's kind of been TV shows, namely SNL and South Park right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, especially school, I don't really watch a lot. So, I'll be honest, another source of comedy for me has been TikTok. But also with school, I haven't really been on that as much. But man, there have been some times on there where there's just something random, and I just burst out laughing. TikTok's been a great source of joy for me. Yeah, that's how it goes for me when it comes to comedy. There also, this is not necessarily comedy, but there's some like weird songs that I love ironically, like for random reasons. Like there's, like in my playlist, there's this one song from Social Club Misfits. I think it's called Clear, and it features Foggy Raw, and it's like this, I don't even understand the song, but it's a little, especially with Foggy Raw is definitely like a mumble rapper, but it just gets me hyped for the dumbest reason, and I love it. So sometimes like that's a form of joy for me. But yeah, why do you ask?
Well, no, I was just thinking about comedians because I've been watching some like a more recent comedian that I'd followed was Jeff Foxworthy. Mainly because he came to Liberty
right
a few years ago.
Did you like him? Were you there?
I was there.
Did you like it?
I really liked him. Yeah, he was really funny. I really enjoyed him.
I wasn't crazy about it from what I remember, but I remember it.
I mean, partly for me because I understand redneck culture.
Gotcha.
Part of my family is that culture, so I get that. But for comedians, for me, a big one for me growing up is Ken Davis.
I've heard of him. My friend likes him. Yeah, and I've been meaning to check him out.
He's a pastor comedian. But for him, how I got into him is about 10 years ago. Me and my family went to Florida on vacation to, one, go to Disney and check out stuff there, and two, this was just the first time we're going to go and check out Ecuador for like a few days, which was interesting. But down there we stayed at an old lady's house, and she loved Ken Davis. Like all around, she had Ken Davis memorabilia. She had VCRs, CDs, DVDs.
That's love right there.
Cassette tapes. And like while we're there, she just play like his comedy routines, and I fell in love with all that. In fact, when I left, she gave me a bunch of CDs of his sermons, and I loved them, and I listened to them over and over again sometimes, and fun times.
I should check them out at some point.
Yeah, I don't know if the old lady's still kicking, but yeah, thankful to her that I got into Ken Davis.
Yeah.
I'd highly recommend him, not only just for his comedy, but for his messages as well. And then another one, Brian Regan, who he's a really funny one. Really funny one, and that's all I can say. Comedians, they're really funny, depending on who they are. Some, I find that a lot of very popular comedians I don't find funny.
Yeah, there was one time when I was like watching like some SNL people like doing comedy sketches, and they were entertaining, I'll say, but they weren't necessarily funny. Like also sometimes like I would kind of like just pull it up in the background, so I wasn't like fully paying attention to either, right?
Yeah.
But still, I remember there was this one time though I was watching a video. It was entitled "Watching Female Comedians Until I Laugh."
Okay.
And actually no, it was the sequel of that video. Because that video kind of went viral for him.
Mm-hmm.
So the sequel, and like he was taking like some of the recommendations that people recommended to him, and the last one in the bunch, she didn't pull any punches.
Huh. Yeah.
Is that how you say it? Sometimes when you hear a phrase, you think you know what it means, then you say it, and then you're like, wait, did I say that right?
Yeah, I get what you mean. A lot of comedians, they don't pull their punches. They are very blunt.
Yes, okay.
And
yes.
they're not afraid to censor themselves.
Yeah.
No, they don't censor themselves.
Right.
They will straight out say what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Like Dave Chappelle.
And so that's what made that lady so funny, because she just said it. Like, there was no sugarcoating. She wasn't shy. She was also older. So I think she's actually passed away. But, like, man, she was funny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, then that, like, sometimes, like, when I go see someone at open mic, because I go to open mic quite often because I perform at open mic, I just see people go on and like, hey guys, so I've never done this before, so please bear with me.
That is the worst thing they start out with.
Yeah, or
if you're ever going to comms, never do that.
Or there are some people who are like, hey guys, how are you doing? Come on, you guys can cheer louder than that. And I'm like, so, because we just have a handful of both of those people, and it gets tiring. And so, like, for me, like, I take a lot of, like, mental notes when I, like, see people at open mic. And sometimes I fail at it, right? But, like, I'm like, all right, I don't want to open like that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. That's why I know why a lot of people love my open mic performances. It's because so many people go up with, like, their sweet acoustic and such, which is fine. They're talented on all that. But, you know, it's boring after seeing 10 performances in a row with 8 of them being acoustic and 2 of them hip-hop or something, right?
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with any of that. It's just boring after a while. So when I go up with, like, my metal stuff, people go crazy because it's something different from what everyone else was doing. But, yeah. I guess in terms of, like, the comedians, they're just some people, like, I know, like, there's some people who kind of create their own character of kind of, like, being, like they have, like, a character, like, that they feel a little unsettling. Like, honestly, a great example and would be Ellen. I know with, like, all the stuff going on right now, that's a hard one to pull up, but honestly, if you really think about it, like, you could kind of tell, like, a little bit, like, she didn't seem like the most settled as a person, but it almost makes even more sense right now with, like, all the stuff coming out.
Yeah.
But, like, she had this sense of uncomfortability that made her stuff honestly funnier. Especially when you didn't know, like, all the stuff going on, but because of that, like, sense of uncomfortableness, part of your laughter was because you were uncomfortable. So, like, some people have, like, are good comedians because they've established a character about themselves, and they're able to evoke an emotion out of people that way. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, like, even Tim Hawkins, like, he has this very strong sense of, like, just almost unnatural boldness.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, he just, you know, will just doink you on the side of your head, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And even, like, John Chris, like, there's, I guess, like, almost, like, a sense of, like, cockiness. Or, like, this, I don't know, like, it's been a while since I've seen his stuff, you know? but like he had like this air about him that helped made his comedy funnier, right?
Yeah.
If you're just up there telling jokes and you don't have a character, you're not that great of a comedian. If you're up there and you're obviously shy, you're not a great comedian. But if you're able to like somehow maybe incorporate that unsettledness or that boldness or even shyness into your character as a comedian, then you have a greater potential of being a good comedian. I think there is a sense that being a comedian is acting, and that's part of the reason why I do feel like some people, it's so demanding for some people, because some people just expect this character from these people that they aren't really in real life, or maybe even in interviews sometimes. There are some people who like kind of have this character about them in real life. He's not a comedian, but a YouTuber named Stevie T, from what I've heard, like that's kind of how he is in real life. He's very energetic and wacky, and from what I've heard, like at least from one of his friends, like that's kind of who he is in real life, and he's not like putting on like a over crazy character of himself. He's just naturally kind of crazy like that.
Yeah. I think the best example to what you were saying about people who are different than they are is Pee Wee Herman.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, Pee Wee is a character that Paul Rubens plays and does. He does his childlike innocence with Pee Wee. And his jokes are all corny, but there's something about it that the character brings that's like so interesting at the same time, and it's really fun. And for so many years that he's been doing Pee Wee, like no one knew who he was. They just thought he was Pee Wee. Until one day he gets arrested, and you see a mugshot that's like, that's Pee Wee? Like, that's interesting. And then he finally is a normal person and whatnot. But yeah, that's a perfect example. Yeah. One day I would really like to meet Ken Davis. I really wish he'd come to Liberty. He's actually come a few times for Convo.
Okay.
In the past. Not yet while I was here, but you know, one day.
So I guess he's still somewhat active?
I don't really, I'm not entirely sure. He's probably active as a pastor. I'd have to check it out, but yeah, that's what I say. Is there anything else you want to say for us today?
I guess when you really think about it, there aren't really a lot of Christian comedians, and so like there are some. I'm not saying that there aren't.
There
any.
are a lot of comedians that start out crass, but they become Christian and they soon become more clean. Like Jeff Foxworthy. Like when he starts out, he's definitely doesn't really have much of a filter. Like he's cursing, but now he's much more reserved and with how he says things, and you know, it's nice to see that transition in some people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I mean, like within like as a like Jeff Foxworthy still wouldn't necessarily be considered a Christian comedian though. He's still kind of like Jeff Foxworthy.
Yeah, he's Jeff Foxworthy, and then there's the Jeff Foxworthy, the Christian, who will host Christian events. I know that he hosted a Christian game show.
He did,
and that's on Netflix.
Really?
It's a terrible show. They try. It's not good. The idea of a Christian game show sounds fun, but their execution is not very good.
Now I want to see an episode. You want to do that after VeggieTales?
Oh, I don't want to show you an episode now.
What's the name of it?
I will show you after the podcast.
Fine.
But yeah, anything else you want to say here?
But yeah, like we've had John Crist, who's like just dominated, and like it was like the source of Christian comedy, basically.
That and
like,
Tim Hawkins,
but he kind of like stepped out of the spotlight as
John
like Crist was rising.
Especially growing up, Tim Hawkins was a big name for us.
Right. And not to say that there aren't other people, like Bob Smiley, I guess, was kind of another name. But like
the skit guys.
There are some, but none as many like as prominent. Because, like, for example, for a festival, it's either gonna, or at least was, but, you know, John Christ or Tim Hawkins. The skit guys never really, like, had any festival slots or really a lot of publicity from their Christian peers. It was either John Christ or Tim Hawkins. And now Tim Hawkins is getting older. He's kind of just being more of a family man. Not to say he doesn't do any shows. He does still do some shows. And John Christ with his stuff, like, not as many people are going to be booking him for shows like they did.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what we need. I personally, like, I feel like some people have kind of told me that I should be a comedian. I feel like some people have told me that. I don't want to be.
Yeah. Like,
there's just a lot of pressure with that.
if you wanted to, you could be a good one.
Here's another thing. If I remember, like, with open mic, like, my first few open mics, like, I basically started off with comedy and ended with a song.
Yeah. Your comedy routines were funny when I watched them. I really liked them. And I missed them.
Yeah, but here, basically, here's the thing, is that when, especially for, like, open mic, if they're like, all right, next up we have Christopher, and he's going to do comedy, instantly your bar goes sky high, right?
Yeah.
Now, imagine if the person said, up next we have Christopher, and he has some words to share with us, or say even a sermon. Your bar's not that high, right? You're expecting maybe even something pretty serious, right?
Yeah.
For example, like, if you visited a church and the pastor is just absolutely hilarious, you're going to find it really funny because you weren't expecting to find a comedian. You're expecting to find, dare I say, a boring pastor, right? And so when he pulls out a lot of jokes, it really catches you by surprise. So, like, there's just such a high bar when it comes to comedy, that I personally don't want to brand myself as a comedian. You can say Christopher is funny.
Yeah, you're funny.
But I'm not necessarily a comedian. What I kind of would, if I did, and I don't think I will, but if I ever did tour, like, I would expect people to come to see me, and that they've kind of known me for my character and who I am and what I say, and as a result, they will find some things funny, and maybe I would pull off a few metal things for the fun of it, right? But I don't consider myself a comedian. I consider more of a personality.
Okay.
Is my personality fully developed? Maybe not. At the same time, I've kind of capitalized on the fact that, like, I am, like, I don't fake things for me as a personality. So, some thoughts there.
Some thoughts there.
Hopefully we will have some, like, we had, Michael Jr. came to Liberty. He's a Christian comedian. I actually saw his show. Here, that's another thing.
Michael
Jr.
Did he come last year?
2 years ago, maybe.
Is he a black guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you go to the show or just a convo?
I was at the commuter lounge when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was the one who does his comedy, and then suddenly he goes serious.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he's a good mixture.
So I wasn't there for the convo. So when I went to the show, I was expecting a comedy show, and just like what you said, he had comedy and then he was serious, which is fine. But because I did not know that's who he was, I was not expecting that, and so I left the show feeling like that was okay. Yeah,
like, the funny thing is that during comms, the professor showed a video of him, like, a week before he came, and we had no idea it was coming the next week. So he comes, and he does some similar things, and he shows the same clip that we saw in the class. And on top of that, one of the he was interacting with the audience in that clip, and it turns out the audience member he was talking to was a professor at Liberty. And so the people run all the way to the music department. They get that guy to come in, and he walks on stage, and they have their fun bit together. It was great. It was
That's cool.
yeah, it was a cool moment.
Wow.
Yeah,
Now I almost want to see that.
we should end this podcast.
But just saying, like, for Michael Jr., if I had known that he wasn't just comedy, let's say, like, oh, he's a comedian, inspirational speaker or something, that's a stretch, but I'll just say use that. Then I would have been more prepared, right? So again, like, I had set my bar so high because he's a comedian. I went in there because I wanted to laugh.
Yeah,
Not necessarily be, encouraged or whatever.
Yeah.
I wanted to laugh. So it's a lot of things when it comes to labels. We could talk about labels, but that's a discussion for another time.
yes. Right now, we should wind things down so we have time to do other things.
Yes.
So yeah,
Eat your greens, baby.
eat your greens, baby. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.